What's going on, guys? New Ghostbusters trailer just hit the internet. The old trailer, the most downvoted and hated trailer in YouTube history. Why is that? Why is there a dust storm of hate surrounding this film? Well, we're gonna talk about that very subject today in a new segment we called, Can We All Just Take a Breath? And we're gonna talk about it with a couple of our old pals. First, he is the Movie Fights champion and the host of the new Screen Junkies Plus show, Summer Movie Report, Dan Merle. And he is one of the writers of Honest Trailers, and he has got an awesome wrestling parody book out called Leg Drop from Devastator Press, Joe Starr. Let's talk about the first trailer for a second. Why, in your estimations, did it get such a poor reaction?
It was a pretty lowest common denominator trailer.
Pretty mediocre.
I think it felt like everyone's worst fear of this movie. It felt kind of blarty, for lack of a better descriptor.
Blarting around.
I think for everybody looking for a reason to really attack this movie, because I feel like there was a lot of people from a lot of different camps, which we'll talk about, just waiting to pounce, and I think that trailer gave them the opportunity to do that. I think that Paul Feig's movies in general kind of had poor trailers. Bridesmaids and Spy both, in particular, didn't have trailers that made me jump out of my seat saying that looks like a hilarious movie. And they both turned out to be really funny. But I think the main thing that we're trying to figure out, and I think the big driving question of this is that with Point Break and all these other remakes, everyone said like, oh, that looks terrible. And with this particular movie, for a number of reasons, people aren't saying that, oh, that looks terrible. They're saying like, this movie sucks. It's awful. It's a piece of garbage. It's an abomination. And no one's seen it.
And that is premature talk.
It is.
Yeah.
You can certainly take impressions from trailers. Obviously, with Jurassic World, I had a very strong reaction to the trailer for Jurassic World. But the difference is, I don't like this in the trailer. This is what. But I still said, I can't wait to go see it and form my own opinion.
Could this movie just crash and burn and be terrible?
Sure.
That's in the realm of possibility. Absolutely. But could it be good? Yeah.
I wish I could just jump into a parallel universe. And let's say you put out the same exact Ghostbusters trailer with Channing Tatum, Jonah Hill,
Ben Stiller,
let's say, and then let's throw in Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let's say you put out the same trailer with those same jokes.
Yes.
I don't think that would be the most disliked trailer in the history of YouTube.
No.
There are so many examples of bad trailers being good movies and good trailers being bad movies.
One that wasn't a mess, but really left me flat was, based on the trailer, I was so excited for the movie Pineapple Express. It had that MIA song in it. It looked amazing. And then that movie really just kind of fell flat for me.
I loved Pineapple
I can disagree
Express.
with you on that. I can disagree with you on that. But again,
I disagree wholeheartedly. Where do you stand on Pineapple Express?
But no, this is a good way to turn this on its head.
Yeah.
Based on the trailer, what's happening now with Ghostbusters would be like Joe seeing the trailer for Pineapple Express and then going on the internet and saying, Pineapple Express is one of the best comedies I've ever seen in my life. That movie is amazing.
Yep.
You don't know that. You've seen a trailer.
A lot of interesting points. I want to bottom line it. Why do each of you think this movie is getting so much hate? And then piggyback that question with, what would you say to people who are just writing it off?
Well, I think on one hand, you have people who feel a lot of ownership of this franchise. You know, even in just that Cinemassacre video where the reviewer stated he's never going to watch this movie. In that video, he goes on to describe, beat for beat almost, exactly what this movie should have been. And so you have people who are like, this isn't what I've been imagining to be for 20 years, so I'm done.
Yeah.
The nostalgia, the lore, that's part
of it.
So that's part of it. What else?
It would be naive to not acknowledge that there is an undercurrent of sexism on the part of some people that dislike it. Not all. Some people that dislike this movie. It would be naive to not think that that is one element, but too many people put all their eggs in that basket.
Yeah,
and
because as I was
saying,
just the nostalgia camp, that's a valid point.
I tweeted about this yesterday because there's a video that came out, like you were saying, from a guy that said, I'm never going to see it. And I said, I think that's really unfair and closed-minded. And a lot of people said, like, well, don't you think that people have the right to choose what they want to see in a theater?
Of course you do.
Of course you do.
Like,
but to say, I'm not going to go see this movie because it's terrible. That's what's not fair. Because you haven't seen the movie and you're not going to give that movie a chance.
Don't do the book report when you've only read the back cover.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think that there is a bit of franchise fatigue. I think people are sick in general of the repurposing of old franchises, good or bad.
Studio films, indie films, dramas, they're going by the wayside. That's the plan now, and it's exhausting.
And when it comes out, and people are probably going to come to me and Joe, on Twitter. I'm sure they will after today's episode. Yeah. But after the movie comes out, they're going to come up and say, like, "See, don't you feel like idiots because you stuck up for the new Ghostbusters movie?" No, if it's a terrible movie, I won't feel bad at all for what I said here today, because I think that every movie, I don't care what movie it is, it deserves it deserves a shot.
Innocent until proven guilty.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I believe every movie is good until proven bad.
I think you could even call us heroes, both of us.
That's a step too far. But guys, who are you going to call?
Ghostbusters.
There you go. Are you excited for this film? Are you dead set against it? We want to know. Let us know in the comment section below and tell us why. I want to know where you're coming from. Dudes, thank you for coming in and speaking your mind.
Yes, absolutely.
Dan Merle.
I look forward to all of the initials that you will be calling both of us on Twitter.
Hooray!
Joe Starr.
Looking forward to talking to some Twitter eggs today.
I'm Hal Rudnick. Hit me up on Twitter. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Likely prompting a new wave of R-rated superhero films.
So, when Aquaman starts throwing out sperm whale jokes, you know who to thank.
Holy crap. Deadpool?
No, it's Rhythm Nation era Janet Jackson. Yeah, I'm motherfucking Deadpool.
Wow, you're showing up in your own honest trailer? That is so meta.
Well, it's kind of my thing.